What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Ham House Sports. It's Big Matt and it's Little Matt, and this is Ham House Sports Guide to Collecting and Investing Sports Cards. This is episode 8, and this will be going over honoring your word and negotiation.
The art of negotiation. So this is where Matthew thrives. Matthew loves the back and forth, negotiating a deal, getting to come up a little bit, come down a little bit, making transactions. My brother, I got you, my brother. I got a deal for you. So Matthew, why do you like this part of the hobby so much?
It's not that I like it so much. It's just adrenaline and the thrill of making that deal. Yes, I got it incoming. Post it on your Instagram, making a reel with the card in your hand. It's just the thrill. I love chasing the card. It's a card I want. Like a Steph Curry rookie is my favorite card. If I make a deal on a Steph Curry rookie, I'm super pumped. And yes,
this. So when it comes to negotiation, what would you say are the things that you've learned the most?
Yeah, so I've learned that this was taught by our good friend Matt Levine. He told me this, and he said if somebody shows you a comp, they're not showing you the comp. He said they're showing you the highest comp possible. Like if somebody says, here it's $3,000, last comp was $5,000. They're showing you the highest comp possible. So that's something I learned, that always check comps yourself, because sometimes you will just see one comp and say, oh, this is a $5,000 card. I think 3.7 is a fair number on that card. But you really haven't checked other comps, and then you check it, you already agree to buy that card, and you're like, oh, it did 3,500. It gets sick to your stomach, kind of. So That's something that Matt told us, and that's something that if you're going to be in sports card hobby, you got to use that.
So you really have to understand the market when you're negotiating. And, if you can do that ahead of time, it's super helpful. Like if you walk into a situation kind of knowing what a card's value is at and what you're willing to pay, it'll really save a lot of time and energy instead of just haggling back and forth. I will say this, I can't understand the haggling at all. And so I'm pretty direct. I'm pretty much like, hey man, this is our number. Let me know if you're in. Yeah. And if they go, could you do this? I might say, all right, I'll do $100 less or 10% less or whatever. Yeah. But when you get somebody that's just offering you, oh man, I'll do 60%. You're like, all right, I'm just not even going to entertain this anymore because it's a waste of everybody's time.
So this is Joe Burrow. He's had offers of we've had offers of higher, a little bit higher than we paid for it. We don't want to take that because we think we can get a little bit more. Then there's some people they literally try to give us the highest number on their cards, but the lowest number on our cards. So, and this card comped at $2K. You're like, I want to be at $1,600 on the Burrow. And he's like, but my card comped at $4,500. I'm like, no, it didn't. It just comped at $2K. And they try to be on the high side for their cards, but that's automatically a sign you don't want to do a deal with that person.
Yeah, so one of the things that's really key in negotiating is integrity. It's people who do what they say they're going to do, and their word is true. And I've dealt with so many people in business situations before that I just understand when I am being hoodooed, when I am being sold, and I just generally back away from those situations. Versus somebody who comes to me and they say, hey man, I'm really interested in this card. And you go, yeah, let's talk about it. Let's make a fair deal. And it's an honest conversation. There's not a bunch of gimmicks. There's not a bunch of sales tactics. This is a place where I think the hobby could really improve. Yes. You've got these guys in the hobby that have great reputation. Listen, these guys have made tons of money in the hobby. They're good to the kids in the hobby. They're eager and willing to make deals. They give stuff away a lot. And then you've got other guys in the hobby who, it's really just about the money for them. And they're just protecting themselves and their bottom line and all that kind of stuff. And listen, everybody has to do what they feel like they need to do to, provide or whatever. But for us, my faith is a huge part of it. Is the main part of my life. It's what I do. And so I'm doing this as a trust mechanism. It's something that the Lord has allowed me to participate in with my son. And so I'm going to honor that the entire time, rather than getting caught up in a bunch of emotion. And even when we've been scammed by people, we've been scammed by multiple people. And you know what? There was, hey man, I don't agree with what you did. That was wrong. Let's move on. I don't blast the guy. I don't cuss him out and all this kind of stuff.
Post it on a Facebook group and say,
listen, that's fine. I mean, people who break the law and are frauds should have some level of accountability, but know on the front end, right, to how to recognize common scams. And most of the time, people buy into scams because the deal is too good. They get eager. They get a little bit greedy.
Another thing we should have talked about last time is if you're buying a card, unless the guy has plenty of vouchers, buy the card with PayPal, goods, and services.
Yeah, so you learn to use certain mechanisms to pay, so you protect yourself, you cover yourself. It's when you get outside of those rules that you get burned. It's like, I'm paying a little bit less, but I mean, it looks like it could be a good deal, so I'll pay this way. You're going to get burned.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Totally.
If, the guy couldn't coin it, or, the guy's got a health condition and he's, it's probably going to be a shady deal.
Yeah.
So you have to have a level of integrity and a wisdom that you bring to the table, or you're going to get burned, or you're actually going to take advantage of people. And neither of those cases is good. Like I had a guy the other day. I knew this guy was a Kansas City Royals fan. I put a bunch of cards together, about 150 cards. And I said, hey, man, I've got about 150 cards here, Royals cards. What would you like to do? And he said, I think I could do like $80. And I knew that was too high. And so I said, nah, man, I'm only looking for about 50. And so I did the deal for 50. And in that case, he got a great deal. I think that was a more honoring price. I could have easily taken the 80, but $50 was the right number, And so, I've got various things like that, where there's an opportunity with somebody who doesn't know as much about the hobby, and you could maybe take advantage of them, and you could go, dude, this card's going to be worth this, and this. That stuff never wins, and it will not be successful. And there's a lot of people in the hobby that do that crap, and it just has to die. And I'm very, very, very convicted about bringing a level of honesty and integrity to this hobby. So when I see hype guys, when I see guys that it's just a bunch of flashy chatter, I just, that's fine, man. I've dealt with that before in other lines of business, but I'm really not interested in being sold and getting haggled around and beat up and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, integrity and honesty and negotiation.
And honoring your word. So we had somebody that were going to buy this card right here. They made us an offer. We didn't have the card in hand yet, and we said, we'll let you know when it gets in hand. Right? They got in hand and said, hey, we'd like to accept your offer. And they said, I'll pass. I don't want the card anymore. Right? So they already said they would do this. And then they just said they weren't going to do it. So if you want, and a lot of the times if that guy wants to buy one of our cards again, we're probably not going to make a deal with them.
Yeah. Well, again, everybody says things. Everybody gets excited. We've gotten excited. We've jumped the gun. So it's not like a condemnation of people, but it's going, be aware that when you're dealing with people and they say they're going to do something and then they don't do it, have a system in place to go, okay, this guy said he was going to ship in 2 days and he didn't, you know what I mean? And you start to make these lists in your mind of, want to do business with this guy, don't want to do business with this guy. That kind of stuff is going to weed out people in the hobby over the next, year or two, I think, and really put guys who are sincere, honest advocates for the 100%. Hobby in a better place. So that's it. All this video on negotiation.
Last episode coming.